So thank you everyone for those who participate in this WAPEKO event for the first time. And my name is Kenmaru. And today I'm going to talk about how to become a global player, learning from campus Asia experiences. For those who don't know my personal background, I am Ken, once again. Some people call me Ken, or some other people call me Kenmaru. I'm currently studying economics at the Graduate School of Economics, WASEDA University as a graduate student. And however, I participated in Campus Asia program. I went studying abroad to Peking universities at Yuan Bay College when I was at a sophomore. And I think there might be some of the students or the people who haven't been to studying abroad yet, maybe due to this COVID-19 pandemic. But I hope you guys enjoy my presentations, and because learning about other countries' cultures and especially studying abroad definitely make you improve yourself in the future. So Asana presentation's title is how to become a global player. I want you guys to think about how do you define a global player or leader? It's a quite difficult question to me as well, because depending on who you think, there might be a different definitions of global players. And for example, me, I came out that maybe the global leaders or players maybe defines as someone who understand multicultural background, or maybe have a leadership mindset, or maybe take a strong initiative, maybe speak multiple languages, take on a social responsibility, or maybe have a special skills. Maybe for a Japanese resident, maybe Suga Prime Minister might be a global player. Maybe for a Chinese resident, maybe a Jack Ma, the world's most famous business players in the world, might be a global players to you guys. Or maybe the Korean idol groups on the right-hand corners, the TWICE, which I really like, and I'm actually listening to TWICE many times. There are many Japanese, Taiwanese, and Korean idols in this group. So maybe they can be a global group or global players to some extent. But there's another question that comes to my mind. Does studying abroad help you to become a global players? To just give you the answer, it is yes. Studying abroad is beneficial for people who want to know social issues or to understand different cultures, challenge yourself, learn leaderships, learn new foreign languages. And yeah, I think many students who are currently studying outside of your home country, or some who are planning to go studying abroad, I think many of you guys probably have listened to this keyword, the leaderships, learning new cultures, understand about social issues. And I was also one of the students who are eager to learn these mindsets and skills and experiences. However, the Campus Asia program, this might be the best way to learn this mindset or experiences. However, this program made me rethink about these explanations of how to become a global player or leader. This is because these 5 factors actually, I think it really sounds very familiar to student or to me. But if you really want to learn this skill set or the mindset, it is extremely difficult. I'm going to give you some example after. So when I was in Beijing in 2017, when I went to Peking universities for the first time, I saw the wonderful, the biggest cities I ever seen in Asia, the Beijing. I was so excited to see the skyrocket buildings like I showed you on this PowerPoint. But on the other hand, it was quite interesting to see that there were so many homelesses that were begging or looking forward to get some donations from a foreign resident, including myself, using a WeChat or Alipay QR code. if you're in Japan, because I'm currently living nearby WASEDA, I live in Japan, I'm in Tokyo now. You need to find a problem in Japan if you want to find some social issues. However, when I was in Beijing or in China, it was quite easy, unfortunately, to see social issues like every day in China. There were another really cool experiences I had when I was in Jiangxi Prefecture during my holidays in my exchange program. I think most of the Asian students or people who are living in Asian countries, maybe studying at a college, or maybe some who are also studying at a graduate schools, a lot of the Asian students study hard. But I never thought there are so many local, rural Chinese students who are studying really, really hard in order to enter the past the college exams called Gaokao. And I mean, I knew that from the textbooks that the college exam competitions in China or maybe in Korea are quite intensive compared to Japan. But when I saw the real people there, I actually went with my Chinese friend to Jiangxi prefectures in the rural regions. It was interesting that these students have never met with a Japanese student, so they're quite shocking to me. But I was also shocking to them because I've never seen the local Chinese student who have never talked to a foreign people, but studying English or their subject really hard every day until like 11 p.m. I think maybe there might be some Japanese students who are studying really hard, but when you see the real competitions in China, there are so many things that I learned from these people that I should have put myself even harder because depending on the environment you belong to, the competitions might be very different from your expectations. I think many people say understand culture, especially the foreign cultures, is very important. And especially for those who are studying abroad, or maybe who used to study abroad, it's a quite important things in terms of doing a studying abroad. But it was extremely difficult when I was in China. Even I have already been to so many different countries before. The left-hand corner, this is the image of the PKU's canteens and non-yuan shutan, or the non-yuan canteen. And I remembered that there were so many delicious Chinese foods that I could have and that I could enjoy during my lunchtime. But I never expected that I was kind of forced to eat my lunch while standing up because there were a limited number of seats in the canteen. And the way of enjoying lunch might be different depending on where you belong to as well. Maybe because I was almost enjoying my lunch in the PKU campus, this might be a very rare cases in China. But the point what I want to say here is that even the normal lunch you have on a daily basis is one of the culture shocks that you might have when you are studying abroad. On the right-hand corner, it is one of the local Chinese restaurants you can find in the rural regions. On the left-hand corner, in Chinese, it says gorofan. So it's basically a noodle with a dog meat. I don't want to say the ethical issues here. The point here is that I was never expected to enjoy some meat that I have never enjoyed before when I was in Japan or in other countries. That we need to understand that depending on the regions, depending on the countries, depending on where you're born, the foods that we enjoy is very different from from other people. And also, it was quite interesting when I was in China because I always wanted to challenge myself in Japan. But once I studied abroad in PKU, you don't actually have to challenge yourself in China. It's very funny, but a challenge just come to you every day in China. One of the experiences I still remember when I was there, that there was a hotel called International Hotel that didn't let foreign residents stay. Uh, it is not I cannot say this to as an all the cases, but still in China, it was kind of necessary for hotel managers to manage a foreign resident when they use the hotels in China. So it was very important for the foreign exchange students to have your own passport like every single day. I mean, so the entire systems, including touristic systems, might be different from where you are living now. And also there was another experiences that I battled with Chinese taxi drivers that due to my Chinese level of Chinese, it was quite difficult for me to communicate with Chinese taxi drivers at that time. But through these smartphones applications, every day I improve my Chinese. Every day I try to understand about how people there using these smartphone applications to enjoy their life even more, because after living in China for 1 year, there were so many things that I learned from Chinese lifestyles that I even enjoying in Japan. For example, Alipay or WeChat Pay, which some people are quite know about it. But I even use the smartphone payment in Japan on a daily basis now. I think this mindset, depending on whether you follow or not, understanding this cultural background is very important, especially when you're studying abroad. But I also want to mention that you can also challenge yourself. I mean, the challenge always comes to you in China, but probably there are many students who are planning to understand about Chinese cultures or maybe Korean cultures or other countries' cultures while launching a new businesses or maybe volunteering at some organizations or founding student associations. I think there are many things that you want to challenge when you go outside of your countries, but these things everything are actually achievable in 1 year, because I actually did it by 1 year. I want to give you some few examples that I made student associations called Youth Associations of Foreign Affairs. Because when I was in PKU, I always wanted to talk about One Belt, One Road with other Chinese student and also with international student. So I decided to make a own student associations where a Chinese student, international student, and the diplomat at Beijing can exchange their ideas in terms of a One Belt, One Road from each country's perspectives. And this is one of the images I took with my friend, and I still have a contact with them, and we are still talking with through Zoom or like a week. So when you try something by yourself, this is not that, and these kind of experiences, especially your friend, always be with you even after the end of the exchange program. Also, there was a time that I tried to launch new businesses at Chinese edtech startup companies with other Japanese and Chinese students. And obviously, it was my first time ever trying my best to make new businesses there. But obviously, it was very hard. But as long as you try your best, because we don't know whether we can do that until we try our best. And fortunately, the Japanese social medias forecasted our activities at the end of this exchange program. And last but not least, I think there are many experiences but you can make by yourself when you're studying abroad. But one thing that I want to conclude here is that studying abroad is something that you decide by yourself. And I think the Campus Asia is always open to everyone. Thank you for listening to my presentations.